Hey, 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 this is Amazon Jude coming to you live from my war room, and today's date is 6/28/18, and we've had quite the week for our president. And I listened to the hearing today with Christopher Wray from FBI and Rod Rosenstein, Assistant Director of the Department of Justice. And people, I have to say, they were covering really bad. They didn't answer basically any real questions. They managed to evade any of the important questions. And so I was really glad to hear that while the hearing was going on over in the Senate or the House, I don't know, maybe one or the other, I don't know. I have a little bit of chemo brain now. But anyway, over in the Senate or the House, Jim Jordan, his colleagues, got a bill passed that they will impeach Rosenstein if he doesn't turn over all the documents requested by the Congressional Committee, which Rosenstein needs to go. He's been a Comey pal for, what, 30 years? And it's out to cover their own asses because they staged a silent coup against our president, and they also spied on the president, and they also tried to frame the president, and that's what they're trying to cover up. And it's imperative that we as the American people get out the vote this November and vote these Democrats out. Trump will take care of these guys. I kind of think that he's done really well not getting involved in any of it, because then they can't accuse him of tampering with anybody or any agency. So that to me was a brilliant, brilliant move. And you know, as much as I dislike Jeff Sessions sometimes, I think it's brilliant that he is staying out of the mix too, because when this blows up, it's going to splatter everywhere, and it's better off not being on our president or Department of Justice Jeff Sessions. So anyway, I'm going to give you a little bit of the highlights from the hearing today with Rosenstein and Wray that the media is not going to give you. So let's take a listen to some of this and see how it goes. This is, in the beginning, it's Goodlatte, and then it goes to DeSantis. I think this was an excellent question session.
Thank you, Director Wray. We'll now proceed under the 5-minute rule. Questions. I'll begin by recognizing the gentleman from Florida, Mr. DeSantis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Welcome to the witnesses. Mr. Rosenstein, August 8th, 2016, text message in the IG report from Lisa Page to Peter Strzok. Trump's not ever going to become president, right? Right? Peter Strzok responds, no, he's not. We'll stop it. Now, the Justice Department had previously provided text messages from that date. They included all the messages we now have except the "we'll stop it" text message. Why didn't the Justice Department produce that to Congress when we asked?
Mr. DeSantis, I spoke with our Inspector General, Michael Horowitz.
That's Rosenstein.
He told me that when he testified, he didn't have a full opportunity to explain, and the technological details are pretty complicated, but he assured me he had had a long telephone conversation with Mr. Jordan after the hearing and explained it. He's much better positioned than I. What I can assure you...
So let me just ask this then.
Let me just explain, sir. I want to assure you, the American people, we're not withholding anything embarrassing. The message was not in the original material that the Inspector General, he found these messages.
Right, so you guys didn't find it, and he did. And so we're asking you to produce stuff, and obviously, we're expecting a good faith effort. You guys didn't find it, and maybe somebody else deleted or something happened before you guys, but he was able to find it and you didn't. So it was very disappointing to see that text message there, because I think you would agree. Just think of the timeline here. You have Peter Strzok. He opens up the counterintelligence investigation against Trump's campaign at the end of July. Then a week later, this text message, he ain't going to be president, we'll stop it. Then the next week, the infamous insurance policy text message where he says, we can't take the risk of a Trump presidency. You need an insurance policy.
You
rock. The American people see that. Doesn't that undermine the whole integrity of the actions of people like Peter Strzok?
Yes, Congressman, that obviously is highly inappropriate. And
well, it's more than that, though. It's more than that. I mean, the Inspector General did find that the bias affected. He didn't say it affected the decision about Hillary, but he said once we got into the fall, when you had the Huma Abedin emails and there was slow walking on that by Peter Strzok, he was really concerned with pursuing this collusion investigation. And he testified on the record that it was absolutely reasonable to say that the bias not only existed, but affected what he did. Let me ask you this. What did the DOJ or FBI do in terms of collecting information, spying, or surveillance on the Trump campaign, be it via Stefan Halper or anybody else working on behalf of the agencies?
Listen to this.
Congressman, I'm not permitted to discuss classified information in an open setting, but I can assure you that we are working with oversight committees and we're producing all relevant evidence to allow them to answer those questions.
Let me ask you this then. Did the Obama administration, anybody in the administration, direct anybody, Halper or anybody else, to make contact with anyone associated with the Trump campaign?
As I said, Congressman, I appreciate, obviously, the...
You know that's a yes.
I'm not permitted to discuss classified information.
Well, we want the documents, so I know we're in a back and forth on that, but the American people need to know were the counterintelligence powers of the Obama administration unleashed against Trump's campaign. If that was done, was it done inappropriate? Let me ask you this. They talked about the Mueller investigation. It's really the Rosenstein investigation. You appointed Mueller. You're supervising Mueller. And it's supposedly about collusion between Trump's campaign and Russia and obstruction of justice. But you wrote the memo saying that Comey should be fired. And you signed the FISA extension for Carter Page. So my question is to you, it seems like you should be recused from this more so than Jeff Sessions, just because you were involved in making decisions affecting both prongs of this investigation. Why haven't you done that?
Congressman, I can assure you that were appropriate for me to recuse, I'd be more than happy to do so and let somebody else handle this, but it's my responsibility to do it. And all I can tell you
then how do you have obstruction of justice possibility for a president exercising his powers to fire an FBI director that you said should be fired? And oh, by the way, the IG report makes it clear Jim Comey should have been fired. So why are we still doing this with the Mueller probe?
Sir, I'm not commenting on what is under investigation about the Mueller probe, and to the best of my knowledge, neither is Mr. Mueller. I know there's a lot of speculation in the media about that. That doesn't relieve me of my obligation not to discuss the subject.
What a load of bullshit.
Do you accept what IG Horowitz said regarding Peter Strzok and the fall campaign with Huma Abedin emails, how he slow-walked that versus how he was so gung-ho about the Trump-Russia collusion? Remember, he texted Lisa Page. The other thing, Hillary mattered because we didn't want to mess it up, but this matters because it matters. That's what he wanted to do, and that's where he was focusing his energy on. Horowitz said his bias is an appropriate explanation for his conduct. Do you agree?
I certainly agree with...
There you go. You know, Rosenstein just, takes a whooping by DeSantis, and you can tell the fucker is lying. There's no doubt about it. He's pretty pathetic. Mr. President, I think it's time to declassify all of it. I mean, this would blow these guys out of the water. You want to drain the swamp? Push the button. Declassify everything involved with Rosenstein, Stoltz, all of it, everything. Declassify it. And you know what? You will assure a Republican win in 2018 and 2020 in your reelection. This one's kind of interesting because Representative King asked Rosenstein a few very, very good important questions. And you're going to have to listen to his answers because he's claiming that even he doesn't know the names of the people that were involved in this because they're covered up or they're not unmasked for him. The Department of Justice, second highest official, doesn't have access to names. Listen to this. This is just priceless.
To recognize the gentleman from Iowa, Mr. King. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Directed my first question to Mr. Rosenstein. Mr. Rosenstein, I know that you're a constitutionalist, and I think about the framework we're dealing with here in this Article 1, asking questions of Article 2. And I would ask you is in our role of oversight here, in our Article 1 role of oversight, is there any information that's housed within the executive branch, anywhere in the executive branch, that would be permanently and forever unavailable to the oversight of the United States Congress?
I don't know that the answer to that, Congressman, with regard to the information of justice.
Second highest official doesn't know.
Information.
A lawyer?
Said that we typically wouldn't
been with the
it.
Bureau for 30 years?
Congress doesn't want to know, for example, the identities of confidential sources. I think what's significant, you need to understand, is Director Ray and I don't know the names of the confidential sources. To the extent we ever hear them, they're masked. And so there's information that I think would be
If I could just zero in on that just a little bit, because what I'm trying to get at here is that the public is never going to have confidence in this broader issue that we've been talking about for so long.
As long as those guys are working for the United States, we will not have trust in FBI or DOJ.
We actually get information that we don't have to pull and try to fill in the blanks and then fill in the blanks and redactions, etc. And so I would submit that there's no information that's housed within the executive branch in whatever form, even if it's just institutional knowledge, that would forever be foreclosed from access to United States Congress.
Yes, sir. I agree. Forever is a long time. But I certainly am sympathetic and I understand the concern. There are certain.
So do you generally agree with me on that statement?
So there are certain types of information, Congressman, that we've developed protocols with the intelligence committees, where the intelligence agencies will actually provide briefings, at least at a high level, for information that's not further distributed. I know this is a challenging issue,
and I'm aware of that, and I'm not really going to take you down into specifics. I just want to get to this point that,
sure.
and I'll assert this, and you can disagree with me if you like, or under the right format, whether it's in a SCIF, whether it's the people that are appropriate members of the committees of jurisdiction, Congress must eventually have access to all information that's housed within the executive branch of government, or that empowers the executive branch then to be beyond oversight. Would you agree with that?
There is an executive privilege, Congressman, and you said we don't have a constitutional debate.
Okay, let me turn that executive privilege back. Again, what if the President of the United States just simply issued an order that all information relevant here that Congress is asking for is now declassified and directed you to release that to the United States Congress, in whether it be Select Committee and Intel here or oversight? Would you then abide by such an order?
What I regret that you're not seeing going on behind the scenes is that Director.
In other words, he's saying no, he wouldn't abide by it, even if the President of the United States, which is the big boss over the Department of Justice and the FBI, Rosenstein is saying he wouldn't even let the President see what's in there. Now that's fucked up. Now that tells you this guy is as dirty as fucking Hillary Clinton, as Comey, as Brennan, as McCabe, as Schultz, or whatever his name is, as Lisa Page, as Loretta Lynch, as President Obama himself. That's where this shit comes from, is that former President Obama weaponized the CIA, the FBI, the DOJ, and all four of his henchmen came out and claimed that Russia was involved in our 2016 election. That's bullshit. They have never proven that. They have never put forth any evidence of even minute evidence of it. So Mueller investigation is propagated on false claims to begin with. And anybody who thinks Russia was involved in the 2016 election, I suggest you go talk to your head doctor, your psychiatrist, because I haven't seen anything that proved Russia did anything. And I am so glad that President Trump is going to meet with Putin, because this is going to blow a hole in this whole motherfucker's plan.
Ray and I have been in regular contact with Director Coates and with the CIA.
There's another one.
Some of these requests, and our goal is to provide as much information as we can to the oversight committees.
But I'm not really hearing the answer to my question,
yeah,
Mr. Rosenstein,
because he's not answering
if the President declassified and gave a direct order to simply come clean with all things of interest to Congress's oversight on these topics, would you abide by such an order?
Yes, but we'd have to talk about, when you say all information, I think Director Ray and Director Coates.
In other words, no. He would even hide shit from the president. Now, Mr. Trump, President Trump, you need to listen to that part right there. Because what the prick is telling Senator King, is that even if you asked for all the intel on it and to read it yourself, he would hide shit from you. That's why the fucker needs to go.
Presumably consult with the president.
I'll yield to the caveats. I just wanted to get to the point. Then there is a way, but that may be the only way that Congress is going to get this information necessary to put this whole jigsaw puzzle together, and first have the confidence that we actually know what all went on. But just to move on, you gave the directive to Robert Mueller, and can you paraphrase to us the directive he has for that mission?
I don't want to paraphrase it, sir. I actually have in front of me a copy of the order, which assigns him to conduct a full and thorough investigation of the Russian government's efforts to interfere in the 2016 presidential election.
That's directly from the order you just read. Thank you. Now that is available to the public, and I thank you for that. How many FISA judges are there?
Pardon me?
How many FISA judges are there?
I do not know the answer to that, sir.
Do you know how many FISA judges might have signed off on warrants that relevant to this investigation? How many different judges?
You know, my understanding, there was information that was declassified, and I believe that the information declassified indicated one application renewed 3 times, so a total of 4. And I believe there were 4 different judges, but I don't know that for a fact.
Okay, but would their names be public?
Names of the judges?
Yes.
I don't know the answer to that. Okay.
After 30 years of working in the Department of Justice, this fucker don't seem to know much, does he?
Somebody who's been at the agency 30 years, you don't know much. Who was in the room with Hillary Clinton on July 2nd, 2016? We now know Peter Strzok was one of them. Who else was in that room?
I only know from whatever's in the report. I have no personal knowledge.
And do you have a way of finding that information out?
Well, that's the point that I've actually tried to make to several of your colleagues. It's from something that happened before I got there, and I didn't have personal.
Oh, listen to him. Oh, my God. Before I got there? You talking 30 years ago? Or are you talking recently? You've been up Comey's ass for at least 10 years. You've been with the agency for 30 years, and you're going to claim this shit? Oh, what a fucking liar.
I need to rely on other people to tell me the information, so
what a liar.
We must know that. We're going to get the this expired. Thank you, gentlemen.
Mr. Chairman, may I
back?
I will respond briefly, and I recognize, Mr. King, that your time is limited.
I was recognized.
But what I want to assure you is we do think it's important for the American people to know of any wrongdoing that occurred. It's difficult for us to articulate that publicly. We rarely have time to respond publicly, but we are actually working very cooperatively with Chairman Nunes, and I respect what he's trying to do. And I think he understands that I'm trying to do the right thing. And so Director Ray and I actually have worked with him and provided classified briefings, and we're making an effort to get him all the information.
Right. That's why Congress, your fucking direct bosses, can't get access to the papers, and you've stonewalled them for what, 11 months already? Go fuck yourself, Rosenstein.
And I believe he knows as much as I know about these questions that he's trying to answer. And if there's anything else that he believes we don't know, these should be known by him, we're going to look for it. So Director Ray and I are not in any way trying to conceal any kind of wrongdoing.
That's exactly what you're trying to do, is you're trying to conceal your wrongdoing, your, what do you call it, dickless ass of giving Mueller free reign to run off into areas that have nothing to do with the Russian collusion, that are 16-year-old white-collar crimes, which 13 of his so-called indictments are Russians that will never be in the country to even stand trial for it, let alone any information coming from it. So of the 17 indictments and $22 million, you've got Flynn on the hook that looks like he's probably going to pound your ass on, and that's going to change real fast. And what, Papadopoulos, the fucking coffee boy, getting drunk in a bar somewhere, talking shit. You guys claimed that was the reason for your Mueller investigation. You know, these guys are so full of shit anymore, it's hard to watch and not just want to throw a brick at your computer. One of the members of Congress I have the most respect for is Senator Goodlatte. And this was his opening statement today in the hearing with Christopher Wray and Rod Rosenstein. And I think it speaks volumes, and I think it goes right to the point.
I'll begin that opening statement by saying to both Deputy Attorney General Rosenstein and Director Wray that I am very appreciative of the fact that they have changed their schedules to be here so that we could have this hearing today in a reasonable amount of time after the Inspector General's report and testimony before the committee. And I would also like to acknowledge the presence of John Lausch, the United States Attorney for the Northern District of Illinois, who was appointed by the Attorney General and the Deputy Attorney General to facilitate the production of documents which were not being produced in a timely fashion. We still have complaints, but the situation, in my opinion, has improved considerably. But we'll have new issues that we will address here today as well. So I'll continue my opening statement. The Church Committee was established on a bipartisan basis and chaired by Democratic Senator Frank Church in 1975 to review CIA, FBI, and NSA surveillance abuses, including the improper surveillance of an American icon, Martin Luther King Jr., and other prominent individuals. The committee also conducted a review of the insidious monitoring of political activities of citizens exercising their First Amendment rights. The Church Committee's findings resulted in passage 3 years later of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. FISA attempts to balance the need for secrecy in conducting surveillance against foreign agents with the protection of Americans' time-honored civil liberties. This history shows we have already found ourselves once before in a situation where the FBI and other intelligence agencies violated their oaths to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Now hold that thought for a second, because I want to say something here. The FBI and the Department of Justice, there's been corruption a lot longer than just what recently happened with President Trump's campaign and his run for office. They've had problems for a lot of years. And this is the perfect opportunity to clean house. And if we don't clean house, the abuses will continue to the next campaign or to the next person that speaks out, someone like me or someone like our big radio guys, Rush Limbaugh or Roger Stone. And they're already attacking Roger Stone. They're already attacking Alex Jones. They're already attacking Sean Hannity, Laura Ingraham. You name it. These guys have really, really gotten dirty. And the media protects them. And that's what this is about. We don't have a Department of Justice right now. What we've got is a Department of Just Us. Just us special people. That's why Hillary gets to walk and someone else goes to jail. Or what was his name? Petraeus. For the same thing. Okay? Let's listen a little more. Senator Goodlatte is an excellent man. I'm sorry I left it go a little long in the beginning there, but I'm still trying to learn to edit for this program.
In monitoring citizens' political activity, the agencies exercise their responsibilities in a manner unworthy of U.S. officials. The abuses of that bygone era, and really of any era, often happen because of power. Power to influence political currents, power to collect sensitive information, and power to wield surveillance tools in improper ways to achieve improper purposes.
Amen.
That power can and has been abused in the past by individuals at the highest and lowest levels of our government. Fortunately, the power of our intelligence agencies is overwhelmingly used to protect us from those wishing to do our country harm. That is the conundrum. We need our intelligence agencies to have the necessary tools and techniques to safeguard our nation, and we have to be constantly vigilant to ensure these tools are not manipulated by unscrupulous actors.
Then we need, like, you know, when Trump first went into office, I sent him a meme. Probably one of the first memes I sent. I said, you need to fire the top 25 in every agency. Because you've got Bush holdovers, you got Obama holdovers, and you got a lot of corruption. The government's been screwed up a long time. We know that. Here's a great chance to fix it.
The recent Inspector General's report revealed bias in the top echelons of the FBI during a hotly contested presidential election. It revealed that FBI agents, lawyers, and analysts held profound biases against then-candidate Donald Trump and in favor of his opponent, Hillary Clinton, while those on the other side of the aisle continue to exclaim that these biases are only personal political predilections that had no effect on the operation of one of the biggest investigations in our nation's history. I wonder whether these same members would say the same if text messages had turned up to the tune of "Hillary is a disaster," or "We'll stop her," or cursing her with all manner of expletives, or smugly stating that.
That's where they fucked up with their coup and with these text messages that they sent out. They proved by their own screwing up that this was rigged for Hillary. That they had no idea Trump was going to win. And thank you, America, for coming out to vote for a good man. And, you know, he's taken a lot of crap from the main street, lame street media, the fake media. All them sons of bitches lie. They get on the shows every day. Look at Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar. What a couple of pigs they are. And April Ryan. And, you know, anyway, I'm getting off track here. But the point is, Trump has been up against the media, the deep state, the Clintons, the Bushes, the Democrats, and he's still winning for America. We need to come out in November again and vote every single living Democrat out of office. Any way you can. They like to cheat, but we can do it the right way just by getting the bodies to the polls. Continue on, Mr. Goodlatte.
Particular parts of the country smell of Hillary supporters. These types of comments were originating from people who were the fact finders in the investigation. These profoundly inappropriate comments were coming from the individuals who were making decisions on whether to provide immunity to people who had already lied to investigators, and whether subjects of the investigation could sit in on interviews with other subjects of...
Yeah, remember that? They went to Hillary's house, let her lawyers from when she was in the State Department and then sit in on this no audio, no video, just basically notes to do an interview with her without putting her under oath. That is so fucked up in so many ways. And who's responsible for that? That's Comey. That's this guy here. He worked with Rosenstein. He's worked with Comey for years already. So he can't claim that he didn't know or that he didn't understand. They put everyone under oath when you testify for FBI or you're being interviewed by the FBI. How do you think they stick shit up your ass later on? But they didn't put Clinton under it? That was fucked up, guys.
The same investigation. These were individuals who were plainly in positions of great power with the opportunity to place greater, lesser, or even no emphasis on certain facts or interpretations of law.
Exactly.
These actions led to complete legal exoneration of everyone involved in sending top secret emails on personal servers and unsecured emails and setting up a server for the explicit purpose of doing this. These actions even led to exposing at least one classified email to a foreign party that risked serious damage to our national security.
And let's not forget Obama. He was using a fake name in a fake email account to speak with Hillary Clinton. At least 18 times it's been reported. And I have this on good authority. In fact, it was WikiLeaks. And you know what? Julian Assange, you're my hero, dude. Because without you and Seth Rich, you know, who downloaded all of those emails off of Hillary Clinton's server and got them to you. Yeah, we know, guys. We know they murdered Seth Rich for Hillary Clinton's emails. There's no other way it could have happened. The amount of emails would have had to been put on a zip drive. There was no way you could have just uploaded them to the internet. it's a physical impossibility.
Amazingly, considering their overwhelming biases, these people were also the very same people who were assigned to investigate the man that they hated, then candidate Donald Trump.
Yep.
My reference to the Church Committee is apropos because it not only reviewed abuses by individuals, including the FBI director himself, but focused in on surveillance abuses. Yep. Here we now face the same allegations, yet in manner that goes to the heart of our...
Trump had to move everybody out of the penthouse there in New York because everything was tapped. The phones, I'll bet when he went to take a shit in the bathroom, there was probably a mic in there. And I wouldn't doubt if they don't have taps in the White House now with still, because there's still some insiders in the White House, and not to take me off the subject here or anything, but Pruitt, Secretary Pruitt, getting a soundproof booth, I believe in that. I think he has to. There is just so many leaks coming out from these anti-American, anti-Trump people that, you couldn't go to the bathroom without worrying about somebody hearing what you have to say.
Democracy. It is right out of a novel with salacious, unverified dossiers, reports of informants that appear more like spies for the U.S. government, and application of the aforementioned surveillance powers to...
And old good boy John McCain was right in the middle of that one, and so is Adam Schiff. He's a big old fucking leaker, too. He leaked right after Don Jr.'s hearing that was behind closed doors, which he would have liked to have out front, which Roger Stone wanted his out front, but Jackie Spear of California and Adam Schiff lied to Roger Stone, telling him that they had the DNC servers and they had heard or read what was on those servers, when in reality the FBI never had the servers, and Debbie Wasserman Schultz said herself that the FBI never had the servers.
Elect on a U.S. person once associated with President Trump's political campaign. But it's not a novel. It's real life. And we are here today to understand a little bit more about why we now must review how our intelligence and law enforcement agencies engage in activity that appears not only wrong, but potentially illegal.
And think about it this way. That's why they shoved through that, what was it? 702, something 702 or 703. That's why they wanted all their funding before any of this came out, because they knew once President Trump had won, they'd better get their money out of Congress. And it was billions of dollars. Okay? What they need to do now is they need to rescind that funding. And I would suggest President Trump push for a rescind of that funding till we get these departments cleaned out of all these fucking traitors.
All of which brings me to this body's constitutional oversight, mandate, and responsibilities. Our responsibility to the American people is to conduct robust oversight of agencies within this committee's jurisdiction to ensure that taxpayer-funded agencies operate lawfully. Our oversight, though, is only as good as the information we are provided. This committee's oversight has been hampered by both the FBI and DOJ's lack of consistent and vigorous production of the documents we need to hold the agencies accountable. While this production has significantly improved recently, it has felt like pulling teeth much of the time to obtain and review relevant documents.
And these are the oversight committee. This is the oversight committee. This is their boss. This is where they get their money. And they're screwing them. So tell me Rosenstein and Comey and all those guys weren't corrupt, I'd have to call you a liar. Well, folks, that's kind of the highlights for me today besides Jim Jordan. And I think you can find Jordan's scrimmage with Rosenstein online already. I wanted to give you a view of, a listen to some of the things that weren't put in the media today. But anyway, this is Amazon Jude coming to you from Casper, Wyoming. And I'm a patriot. I support my President Trump. And I support his cabinet members. And Maxine Waters, you're a disgrace. Nancy Pelosi, you're a disgrace. Chuck Schumer, you're a disgrace. Sheila Jackson Lee, you're a disgrace. The Democrat Party have lost their mind. They've turned totally socialist on us. And if they had it their way, we'd all be on bread lines and without work. So I suggest people, you get out there and you get people to the polls in November, and let's change this one more time. I knew Trump was going to need help in 2018. That's why I began my crusade to back Trump and to back transparency in our government. It's time the government be reined in and made accountable for their crimes.